Disclaimer. We strongly support Article 19 of Indian Constitution about freedom of speech and expression. We respect all religions. Our intention is not to hurt anyone's religious or social sentiments. This video, including examples, images, and references, are provided for entertainment and educational purposes only, and channel does not promote or encourage any illegal activities. Our aim is only to awaken the society.
Well, thank you for sharing that backstory, and I'm sorry that your information got leaked. I can imagine that it must not have been easy to deal with the backlash of that. And I'm glad that you are safe today. I can't imagine being in that situation, so I have a lot of empathy for you as well. It sounds like you were coming at this from, I'm assuming here that you started to inform Muslims about what you found in their religion, that you think their imams aren't telling them. Why did you want to do that? Was it about informing the Muslims about this, or informing everyone else as well?
Okay, so as I said, it was the first thing is to inform Muslims that this is the real Islam, and apart from that, it is also for non-Muslims to know what exactly is Islam, because the Dawa gang is very active in India. Lot of conversion happening in India. People like Zakir Naik, and there are a lot of Islamic organizations who go to people and do the makeup of Islam, and they present Islam to them, stating that Islam is the only true religion you have to accept. So it's not only about telling the real Islam to Muslims, but also to non-Muslims, so that they know what exactly is Islam. And in case if someone comes and give dawah to the non-Muslim, and if they have seen our channel, we are 100% sure they will never go to Islam. So it's for everyone, Muslims as well as non-Muslims.
So how effective do you think your channel and your approach in general has been in informing Muslims? Or how effective has it been? As in, do Muslims accept what you say? Does it help them in any way, or do you find more opposition than acceptance?
Yes. So we have got a very good result. Since you cannot comprehend our channel, what is happening, it's in Hindi Urdu language. If you see my videos, we have so many ex-Muslim stories. People started watching our channel. They used to give bad words to us in the start when they saw that we are criticizing Islam. Then they continue watching our channel, then they see what we say, because whatever we say, we keep it on the screen, we show the references, and then we keep the argument. And the best part is we give opportunity to Muslims as well, that this is the reference, this is what our argument is, you have all the rights to counter, to refute us. So Muslims, they are watching that what is going on here, whose side is better, whose arguments are better. Lot of people, they have left Islam watching our channel. We have lot of stories. Every stream, or I'll say most of this stream, we have one new ex-Muslim coming on our channel and sharing the testimony that we watched your channel and this is what happened to us. We understood, we rechecked, because everything is available online, and they say that we left Islam. We have lots of stories on our channel. Then we also have non-Muslims who were, who got the dawah from Muslims that to accept Islam. But when they watched our channel, they understood that they are giving false dawah, they are telling false thing. They also left Islam, or they did not accept Islam. So we have a very good result.
Okay. And I imagine that when you were a Muslim, did you face any mistreatment because of being a Muslim?
To be honest, no. One thing that I faced, I'll tell you, and that is not because I was a Muslim. When I was working in corporate, my beard was till my chest. Okay. And I was in a corporate, and I was into client servicing department. I was a client account manager. So I was dealing with clients. Okay. So there was one IGP internal job posting for the post of team leader, or I think associate manager. When I went there, they did not select me because I had a big beard. So that was not because of Islam, but because of the presentation and the job profile that I was into. Apart from that, I'll tell you, if you do not know the scenario of India, Muslims are living very freely. In fact, in fact, they ensure that they get the things what they want. So they have so much power in India. Muslims are very safe. Yes, you may see some incidents where some of the Muslims might have been lynched or killed, but that is very rare. That does not represent the entire India. In
Well,
India,
yeah,
Muslims are, I think, have more rights than they have rights in different countries. I'll give one example to you. Okay, do you have any idea about Tablighi Jamaat?
I've heard of that before. It's a form of da'wah, basically, right?
Yeah. So there is one Tablighi Jamaat which has started from India. In Saudi Arabia, they have banned Tablighi Jamaat. Okay, they have banned Tablighi Jamaat. But in India, Tablighi Jamaat is very free to do the Tabligh. They were involved. They were found involved in so many scandals, but they are still not banned. In Saudi Arabia, you cannot pray namaz, you cannot offer salah on the road outside mosque. But in India, no one will question you. You can see many Muslims offering a prayer on the beach, in the train, outside the mosque, on the road. They are very free in India. They do everything.
I Well, here's something that I've heard again, because I don't understand the conversations that you have on your channel. So I heard this from someone else, from one of our or several of our mutual viewers, about how you've had people on your show, people who are okay with things like lynching mobs and things of that nature. Um, do you think that there is a movement that is pro violence against Muslims, and do you think that are you aware of that movement at all in your following or anywhere else in the spaces where you interact?
Say this is a propaganda against Indians. This is a propaganda against Indians. We do not, what do you say? We do not support any kind of violence against anyone, be it Muslim or non-Muslim or anyone else. We believe in humanity. Anyone who is against humanity, we do not support that. We condemn that. That's the reason. Before you ask me anything, I told you that you might have heard certain incidents, where the Muslims are lynched, but it has been shown to the world out of proportion. You can see lynching of non-Muslims as well done by Muslims in India. So these are rare incidents, and we say that is wrong. We don't support that kind of thing.
Okay.
In fact,
Mhm.
in fact, people who had very hard feeling for Muslims, that these guys are very bad, when they started watching our channel, when they saw our argument, when we told them, Muslims are the first victim of Islam, their thinking has totally changed. Now they see them as victims, as patients, and they want that they should be educated about Islam. So we don't support any violence against anyone,
Uh,
and if
um,
someone is doing that, we condemn
mhm.
that. We find it wrong.
Yeah. Like I said, again, I don't speak the language, so all I have is secondhand accounts. But I remember hearing something about a man called Tufail, um, something about his involvement with lynching of Muslims for eating beef. Um, do you think that something like that is inconceivable to happen, or that it only happens in very small amounts, or that it doesn't happen at all?
Okay, so as you said, the name of the person that you said, he is one of a supporter, my friend. He is
Mhm.
like my friend, my elder. So first thing, he is not involved in any lynching. Okay. Yes, I'll tell you one thing. In India, for most of the people, cow is something very holy to them. Okay. So if someone says that, if you kill cow, will do something or I'll do something, that doesn't mean that literally they will go and kill someone. Okay. So I know him personally. He is not that sort of guy. He might have given some certain statements, and the statements can be, in anger, and these kind of statements can be heard from anyone. That doesn't mean the person will go and kill someone.
Do you feel the same way about angry statements made by Muslims?
No, for Muslims, we very well know that if they hear anything about Prophet Muhammad, you can say anything about Allah. They are still okay with that. But if you say anything about Prophet, against Prophet, yes, they can go and kill someone. We have a lot of cases. We have, examples of people getting beaten, killed in the name of, in the honor of Prophet Muhammad.
Oh,
So,
I'm very aware of that. I've actually made videos about that myself, and it's something, as you could tell, I'm wearing a mask for similar reasons. Because even if I'm not worried about immediately my physical safety, I know that I could be in danger for this, as you were in danger. I
right.
understand. But don't you think that it's similar if someone says that uh, people who find cows to be holy might make certain insinuations or threats, but they don't actually mean them? One
Okay.
could say similar things about Muhammad, right?
Yeah, I'll answer that. See, there's a huge difference between the both. Okay. There may be people, or there are some people, fraction of people who might be doing this. So as I said, we condemn that. Okay. But the major difference between the both is their religion, their books, their scriptures does not tell that if someone says anything to cow or kill cow, go and kill them. On the other hand side, since you know Islam very well, and since I know Islam very well, we know that this killing, the teaching of killing, is coming from the scripture, from the religion. So there is a huge difference.
But I mean, I hear where you're coming from. I don't know enough about Hindu scriptures to know if there's any command to harm people who eat beef. I imagine there isn't. So I want to believe you on that. But do you think that it's like the person that I mentioned, to File? Do you think that you can excuse someone like him for making charged statements that could be interpreted as hateful or threatening?
Yes,
Um,
I think he should avoid, or he should think before giving such statements. I totally agree with you,
mhm.
but his intention, I told you that he is not that kind of guy. He has not killed anyone. There are many slaughters happening, but he has not gone to anyone and killed anyone. Yes, I totally agree with you that,
I
being a
mean,
public figure.
you've seen that video of Ali Dawa, right, where he says that he would execute ex-Muslims if the Sharia law was applied, and he's proud of that. But I
Yeah.
imagine he hasn't killed anyone, as far as we know. But would you extend the same,
See, Ali
courtesy
Dawa
to
may
him?
not kill, but the people who are listening to Ali Dawa, and who have been taught from the childhood that we cannot listen anything against Prophet, they can kill others. So, as I said, you need to understand there is a huge difference between both.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're the same situations. And again, I have to defer to you knowing a little bit more about this stuff, because you live in India. You are surrounded by people of other faiths, including Hindus. I am not. So all I have is secondhand accounts and reportings by other people. It's not that I think it's an identical situation, uh, but I think that there might be maybe a blind spot to people using hateful speech or threats if they're not Muslim. And I
Yes,
want to
they
make
should.
sure, yeah.
See, anyone who is doing that, we are against that. As I said earlier,
Mhm.
we do not support any kind of violence against anyone, be it Muslim or a non-Muslim. We have constitution, we have law of the land. If someone is doing anything which is a criminal offense, we have authorities to deal with it. So individuals, they do not have any right to, take law in their hand, and we do not support anything like that, be it anyone.
Yeah, I'm glad we
And we do
agree on
not
that.
support
And
any such statements given by
yeah,
anyone.
yeah. So I'm wondering, how has the way that Muslims have treated you, how has that affected your journey with this channel? So when you first started doing this, before you were doxxed, and then afterwards, how has the treatment of Muslims towards you changed how you view them and how you discuss this topic, if at all?
See, we see a lot of different type of Muslims coming here. Some are giving threats, some are giving bad words, and there are Muslims who come and talk to us normally. So we have variety of people. We have people who want to kill me, and we also have people who want to speak to me. So there are different varieties of people coming here and talking to us. But yes, I cannot roam openly. I cannot do this activism openly, because that 1% who wants to kill me, it's a good number. So even if 99% does not want to kill me, the 1% is a very big number.
Mhm. Yeah, I really empathize with you. I can't imagine, especially in India, a country with so many people, a small fraction, like you said, translates to a lot of people. So it's hard to feel safe in that environment. So I'm sorry that you have to go through that.
In fact, you can imagine, Apostate Aladdin, just
Mhm.
imagine from this thing. Just try to understand from this thing. I am in India, okay? Majority of people are Hindus, okay? And different faith. Just imagine, we have freedom of speech, right? I am in India with majority of Hindus, but still my channel is banned in India. My mobile number has been blocked. I'm in India. So
Mhm.
just imagine how powerful the Muslims are in India.
No, I'm well aware of that, and I know that even in the UK, there are instances of, for example, a movie that is a bit too Shia in its retelling of the story of the prophet's, one of the prophet's relatives, that could get removed from the theaters because Muslims have protested. So I know that even if the law protects you, sometimes, or often, the angry mob will then still get their way one way or another. I'm aware of that, and I'm wondering if that has affected how you interact with Muslims. Has it affected how you speak with them, or how patient you are with them, or has it been the same since the beginning?
I didn't get your question. Can you please repeat?
Sure. So the way that you had conversations with Muslims before,
Hmm.
you were doxxed, and then today, has it changed? And if
No, no,
yes,
no,
then
no,
how?
no. See, my intention, my way is very simple. I want to talk to Muslim respectfully. Okay. But sometimes what happens is, as I said, we get different varieties of Muslims. Okay. So sometimes we get such a Muslim who is so irritating, so irritating, so irritating, who does not want to speak with references. On that point of time, yes, we lose our patience, and I get a little bit angry, irritated, and I may use wrong words. But apart from that, any Muslim who comes here, who talks with references, who talks without giving bad words, we try our best to be patient with them, to listen to them, and talk to them. So for me, it's same from beginning till now. There are some exceptions. Apart from that, I'm same.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, that would be very impressive. I myself struggle. I haven't received, a fraction of the hate that you've received, not to the same extent, and I still had to adjust in how I view Muslims to make sure that I'm not overcompensating for the frustration that I feel when I get threatened or when I have certain conversations that are not pleasant with them. So if you're able to keep your tone consistent, then that is very commendable, and
In
I would
fact,
love to know how.
Apostate Aladdin, since you have been born and brought up in Saudi Arabia, and possibly you are in West, the the Muslims in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, they are very, very, very different. They are
Different
very
in what
different.
way?
So dealing, their understanding, the way they talk. So dealing with them is very different. You might get the audience or the callers talking you in a very polite manner, or in a in a different way, but the callers that we get every stream, they are totally different. For that you need to learn maybe Hindi and Urdu, and then you may understand what I'm trying to tell you.
So you think that callers who speak Hindi or Urdu, who are Muslim, are more aggressive than other types of Muslim in the way that they have conversations, right?
Yeah, in terms of conversation, yes, because we see that every stream. I cannot say it. I don't want to actually generalize it, but yes, many people who come here are very different, and it's very difficult to tackle.
So I'm thinking about two sources, and I'm hypothesizing. So you tell me, what you think it is. Could it possibly be that it's the tone of the previous discussions on the channel, or the tone of the channel itself, that attracts people who love to fight and argue in that way? Do you think that's a factor in it?
No, 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 no. See, I was also a Muslim, so I know what we have been taught, and how much patience we can have when we see someone criticizing Islam. So it's not about the tone of the channel. It's because of the content of the channel, and the content of the channel is to speak about Islam. So for them, it is against Islam. We are talking something which is not Islam, but for us, it is the true Islam that we are showing.
But
So
I mean, we talk. There are other channels that talk about the same, with the same degree of truthfulness and bluntness. They say it very clearly that Islam is false, and these are the things that are wrong with Islam. So, do you think that specifically yours, because you say things very honestly, you attract a lot of more hateful conversations?
so as I said, I don't want to generalize that. As I said, not all callers, give bad words. Yes, there are callers who give bad words. Yes, there are callers who talk to us nicely. The only requirement that we have when someone comes is they need to speak with references. If they do not speak with references, then, and if they don't want to listen, then we have no other issue but to stop the conversation and remove them.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm
I
trying
don't
to
know which
understand
channel
it.
you're talking about, because I have not seen many channels having discussion like us. I don't know what kind of people come to there, but yes, whoever comes to us are Muslims, and we try our best to be to be nice with them. It depends on the person as well, how he want, what kind of respect he is giving to us.
Mhm.
He will get the same thing in return.
Well, I was just going off of what you said about how Muslims, like I would need to understand Hindi and Urdu to realize that.
And one reason, I'll tell you one reason. Sorry,
Mhm,
I'm interrupting you. And
mhm,
I'll tell you one thing. See, what I normally do is when I have conversation with Muslims, so when I give example to them, when I'm speaking about slavery, or when I'm speaking about child marriage, what I do, because maybe because of that they get hyper, is I bring their family in that situation. I bring their sister in that situation. I bring their mother in that situation. I bring their daughter in that situation. So that is also one of the reason they get
mhm.
hyper. They start giving bad words to me.
So when you bring their mother or sister, you know how they're going to react to that. Um, do you think that makes it more likely for them to see the problem and change their mind?
Yes, yes, because I think is that unless and until you do not give example which is very personal to them, they will not understand the severity of
Mhm.
severity of the topic, or what we are trying to tell them that this is wrong. See, if
But
I
I mean,
tell them is
you're
this
saying
right
that
or wrong.
I hear where you're coming from, but you're saying that they lash out and they get angry when you say that. So do they understand and they change their mind, or they get angry?
Yes. See, Apostate Aladdin, you need to understand one thing. Whenever a callers come, a Muslim come, he comes with the intention that he has to win the debate. Okay. So at that point of time, it's very natural and very normal that he will not listen to me. But what happens is we have many examples where Muslims came to us, fought with us, didn't listen to us. But on the
But is
latest,
intention as well to win the debate?
who's?
I mean, you're saying when a Muslim calls, their intention is to win the debate. Um,
Yes.
but that would also be your intention, right?
See, I am very open. I have told this on so many TV channels. Anyone who will prove me wrong and who will prove Islam true, I'll accept Islam. So my intention, yes, my intention is to win the debate, but that winning the debate is that they should understand the reality of Islam. If they understand that, then I have won the debate. So my intention about winning, or my what do you say, meaning of winning debate is that the person should understand the truth.
Okay. Um, so we were talking about
So you got
yeah.
a lot of things from people about my channel, and
No,
I'm
I'm
thankful
that's
that
the thing. I'm trying to not believe what anyone says about your
yes,
channel.
yes, yes.
That's why
Yes,
I'm
yes.
talking to
साहिल,
you.
हाँ, अपोस्टेड वन सेकेंड।
Mhm.
साहिल, हम यहाँ डिबेट करने के लिए नहीं बैठते ना, हम तो यहाँ
नहीं नहीं,
डिस्कशन करने के लिए बैठते हैं।
ha, and secondly, Posted Aladdin, when we speak to the callers, we say to them that we are into discussion and not debate. So that is also one thing. But good that you had so many questions about
Mhm.
me and my channel, and I'm sure you got the answer. And this answer is for everyone who took our channel in a negative way. But they need to understand one thing: if they understand Hindi, they understand Urdu, they should know the impact that our channel is having on Muslims. Many Muslims are coming out of Islam. So
Mhm.
if they understand Hindi and Urdu, they might not agree with some or the other thing. That is fine. But yes, we have the impact, and our intention is not wrong.
Right. No, I hear you there, and um, I have gotten some answers to the questions, but as you can tell, I'm a very curious person. I like to ask follow-up questions so that I make sure that I'm not misunderstanding you. Um, and for example, like you said, there are a lot of ideas about your channel, and I know what those ideas are, but I don't come here and tell you, defend yourself. You are so and so. I don't think that's productive. I'm curious about what you're telling me, and that's why I'm asking questions mostly about that. So
Absolutely fine.
yeah, like the last
And
thing
I
we were
was
talking
expecting,
about
Appreciate
slavery.
Aladdin.
Yeah.
I was expecting this because when you posted on your community tab, and yesterday when you were live, I saw people writing to you telling, ask Sahil about this, ask Sahil about this. He is more into hate. I've seen that. So I was expecting this, but that is absolutely fine, because we want people to know that, if you have understanding, which is, if you have any negative understanding, then come and take answers from us.
Of course, and I appreciate the chance to do that. I can assure you that pretty much like I've gotten some input from people who don't agree with your channel, but I've put that aside, and I want to satisfy my own curiosity about it, because again, as someone who doesn't speak the language, I don't understand as much as you do about the nature of life in India and life as a Muslim or ex-Muslim or otherwise in India. So that's why I'm trying to get your input there. But even
Yes, please.
setting aside yeah,
Can,
setting aside that, I wanted to just finish the last thing we were talking about slavery and child marriage and so on. Like you said that whenever you bring people's family into it, that's why they get aggressive and that's why they act more aggressively. but you also said that that's what gets them out of the religion, like that changes their mind. So do you think that they change their mind but they act aggressively, or that they aren't changing their minds?
No, see, as I said, when they are into the discussion, when they come first, definitely they will not accept that. But on the later stage, or when they go and think while sleeping that, this is what I said, this is what accepted about my sister or my daughter, then they realize that, it's not correct. So we have many examples wherein, as I said, people came, tried to defend Islam. They were harsh, they fought with us, but later on they came again, and then they said that you were right, and we understood, and we left Islam. So we have examples like that also.
Well,
साहिल, यहाँ थोड़ा नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट जा रहा है पब्लिक में भाई। ये डेविल्स एडवोकेट नाम की भी कोई चीज होती है, इनको सवाल करने तो साहिल भाई जवाब दे रहे हैं, क्यों?
हाँ, टेंशन नहीं लेने का, मैं बता देता हूँ सारे लोगों को कि हुआ क्या है। देखो, प्रॉब्लम ये है कि इनको आती नहीं है हिंदी और उर्दू, ठीक है, लेकिन इनके कॉन्टेक्स्ट में बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं जो अपने बारे में नेगेटिव चीजें बताते हैं कि भाई ये जो चैनल है ये प्रोपेगेंडा चैनल है, हेट फैलाता है, मुसलमानों के खिलाफ है, ऐसा है वैसा है। तो अब इनको तो समझ में नहीं आता है, इनको ये सुन रहे हैं किसी और से, तो अब इनको आंसर भी करना है, क्योंकि वो सवाल करते हैं कि तुम ऐसे चैनल पे क्यों जा रहे हो, ये तो ऐसा चैनल है, क्यों जा रहे हो। लेकिन इनकी बेस्ट बात ये है अपोस्टेट अलादीन की, ही स्टिल एक्सेप्टेड आवर इनविटेशन, ही केम, और ये सोच के आए थे, इसी वजह से इन्होंने बीच में भी बोला कि नाउ आई वांट टू आस्क यू क्वेश्चंस, क्योंकि इनके दिल में पहले से था कि मुझे ये क्लैरिफिकेशन लेना है भाई कि क्या है, कहीं मुसलमानों के खिलाफ तो हेट नहीं फैला रहे हो आप। तो हमने तो भाई पहले से बोल के रखा है, हमारा इंटेंशन बिल्कुल साफ है, हम तो मुसलमानों से मोहब्बत करते हैं, वी लव मुस्लिम्स, we want them to understand what is wrong with Islam, we know, and we try to tell them that you are the first victim of Islam. तो भाई हम उनसे हेट कैसे उनके खिलाफ पहुंचाएंगे, हम तो चाहते हैं कि वो निकले, और यही हमारे चैनल का है। तो कोई ऐसा आता है, सवाल करता है, बिंदास करने दो। देखो, एक चीज तो ये है कि मेरी इंग्लिश इतनी ज्यादा फ्लुएंट नहीं है, इतनी ज्यादा सही नहीं है, इस वजह से मैं इनको जो मेरे दिल में चल रहा है, दिमाग में जो चल रहा है, जैसा मुझे आंसर देना चाहिए, पॉसिबली मैं उस तरीके से जवाब नहीं दे पा रहा हूं, क्योंकि मेरी इंग्लिश इतनी अच्छी नहीं है। लेकिन यही सवाल अगर कोई दूसरा चैनल वाला आके, जैसे अपने ध्रुव राठी साहब है, या फिर वो राना अयूब है, या फिर कोई और है, अगर वो लोग आके हिंदी में मुझसे उर्दू में इस तरीके के सवाल करे, तो बहुत अच्छे से उनको जवाब दे सकता हूँ। मैंने पूरी कोशिश की इनको भी जवाब देने की कि भाई क्या सीन है, और मेरे ख्याल से उनको समझ में आ गया होगा। तो रिलैक्स गाइस, नो नीड टू वरी। हमेशा हम दूसरे को इस पे लाते हैं ना, आज अपना भी क्वेश्चन होने दो, सेशन होने दो, इट्स एब्सोल्युटली फाइन।
अपोस्टेट अलादीन को बता दो क्या बात है अभी।
I was telling people that that you listen all these things from different people, and since you do not understand Hindi or English, Urdu, you cannot yourself comprehend what is going in our channel. So obviously, when you heard something from them, it is your duty, and you should be asking these kind of questions, and we are absolutely okay with anyone asking us any question. We will answer that, and whatever is truth, we'll tell that.
Yeah.
So I was just telling my audience that this is what was going on.
No, I appreciate your openness about this, and there wasn't some kind of truth that I was trying to uncover that I thought you were hiding. I do think that you're answering me very honestly, so I will believe what you tell me as
that is so kind of you. ये कह रहे हैं कि इनको ऐसा लगा था कि मैं कुछ छुपाऊंगा, मतलब साहिल कुछ छुपाएगा, लेकिन ही इज कन्विंस्ड कि मैं ऑनेस्टली आंसर दे रहा हूं भाई। तो देखो, ऐसे लोगों के माइंड को जो नेगेटिव फीलिंग के साथ आते हैं, इस तरीके से चेंज किया जा सकता है। इन्होंने कहा कि मैं कन्विंस हूं कि भाई आप कुछ छुपा नहीं रहे हो, मतलब वो क्या कहते हैं, मेकअप आर्टिस्ट नहीं बन रहे हो, बल्कि आप ऑनेस्टली आंसर दे रहे हो। थैंक यू सो मच अपोस्टेट अलादीन।
And I mean, if you don't mind, if you want to ask me some questions, so it's fair. I feel like I've monopolized the conversation a little bit, because I still have a lot that I would like to know from you. So feel free to ask me some in in return.
No, absolutely fine. The intention of calling you, because this entire month I was trying to cover stories of ex-Muslims, and 4 ex-Muslim from Pakistan. We gave them this platform. We gave platform to ex-Muslims of Bangladesh also. So our intention is very pure. We want as many ex-Muslims as possible from different region to collaborate with us, so that everyone knows that these are the people working relentlessly to educate Muslims what is the true Islam. So our intention is very, very pure, that we want every ex-Muslim channel to grow.
4 नहीं एक्चुअली साहिल 5 है, और इंक्लूडिंग अपोस्टेट अलादीन 6th इंटरव्यू है ये.
You are the 6th person this month. We are interviewing. Otherwise, mostly we do discussions with Muslims.
We are celebrating apostate month this month, Aladdin.
Yeah, I always forget to do something about that. So thank you for remembering that ex-Muslim month. Yeah, and again, I appreciate you having me here, because as I understand it, because most of your conversations are with Muslims, the other side of ex-Muslim, ex-Muslim groups, the side that doesn't speak Hindi or Urdu, they are very curious and they want to know more. And if you think that you're being unfairly represented, I want to make it clear to them, what you believe and why you believe and behave in ways that you do. So that's why I ask a lot of questions.
So do you want to take some of the questions from our viewers through Super Chat?
Sure, yeah, I don't mind. I still have some questions I want to ask later, but feel free.
भाई लोग, अगर अपोस्टेट अलादीन के लिए किसी के पास कोई सवाल है तो आप कर सकते हैं. इंश्योर ही इज आवर गेस्ट. सो और मैंने ऑलरेडी बता दिया है, उनको हिंदी और उर्दू नहीं आती है, इस वजह से उन्होंने जो सुना था उसको उन्होंने क्लेरिफिकेशन लिया. सो दैट इज एब्सोल्युटली फाइन. आप उनसे जो भी सवाल करना चाहते हैं कर सकते हैं. बी रिस्पेक्टफुल. ही इज आवर गेस्ट. ही इज एक्स मुस्लिम. उनका कोई प्रोपेगेंडा नहीं है वो.
I don't get my feelings hurt very easily, so feel free to ask questions in any way. I'm fine.
तो किसी के पास अगर कोई अपोस्टेट अलादीन के लिए सवाल है तो they can send it to super chat. Meanwhile, I'll just check if the existing super chat has any question for you.
Sure.
Okay, let me check.
साहिल भाई, मैं स्ट्रीम में रहूं या फिर मैं YouTube से देखूं?
थोड़ी देर रहो.
ठीक है.
ओके. अच्छा अमित, जरा फटाफट सुपर चैट में देखना, कुछ सवाल है क्या अलादीन के लिए. बारबेरिका स्मृति तो कह रही है अबाउट द एग्रेशन, शुगर कोटेड ट्रांसलेशन आल्सो वाइडन्स द कॉग्निटिव डिसोनेंस दैट अ टिपिकल मुस्लिम फेसेस व्हेन दे आर प्रोवाइडेड विद एविडेंस. सो दिस इज अ मैसेज फ्रॉम बारबेरिका स्मृति.
Sure. What is the question in the message?
It's not a question. It's just that she's highlighting something. Okay, we have holy humanist Nuria Khan as well. We interviewed her as well. She's telling, I hope you know her.
Yes, of course. We've spoken before.
Okay. She's telling, so good to see this crossover. Thanks, Sahil and Apostate Aladdin, for sharing your experience with the Hindi-Urdu audience. English मस्त है आपकी सेल. Thank you so much, holy humanist जी. मुझे नहीं लगा था और मुझे अभी भी नहीं लगता कि इतनी अच्छी है. हाँ, लेकिन काम चलाओ उतना इंग्लिश में बोल लेता हूँ. Thank you so much.
नूरिया जी अगर फ्री है तो साहिल भाई इनको भी लिंक भेज दीजिए.
अगर नूरिया जी 5-10 मिनट के लिए अगर आपको जुड़ना है तो आप जुड़ के you can also share your thoughts about me to Apostate Aladdin, because you were also part of the discussion we had, I think, before 2 years on this channel.
आप लिंक भेज दीजिए उनको.
ने पहले वो कंफर्म करेगी ना तो फिर उसको लिंक देते हैं. मेरे पास अलग से आई एम नॉट इन कॉन्टैक्ट विद हर.
अच्छा.
हाँ. लुकस कह रहे हैं, थैंक्स साहिल, यू आर आल्सो सपोर्टिंग मातृभाषा. इवन इफ एवरीवन अंडरस्टैंड, लेट देम बार्क. थैंक यू सो मच लुकस भाई. राघोजा, काइंडली डिफाइन जिहाद बाय लुगत एंड if you can define since you are an Arabic speaker, this guy wants to know, can you define jihad by lugat? Word
Co-
jihad.
like you mean like the meaning of the word
Yeah,
in
meaning of the
Arabic?
word. In
It,
Arabic and the terminology in Islam.
so the way that I understood it, even from a very young age, is jihad could be many things. It could be, it basically means struggle. So you could have jihad in the way that you conduct your life or do your work, or the way that you study, or the way that you pray. Basically, jihad is a struggle. But of course, in the mainstream, it's been used, and actually even in older sources of Islam, it's the same word that is used to talk about fighting, and talk about dying and martyrdom and things of that nature. So it's used in both ways, but in an Arabic context, like in the Middle East, for example, it is a bit easier to understand which meaning it is depending on the context of the sentence. So jihad could mean a struggle and a strife for something better, or it could mean, the kind of jihad that we think of when people say jihad.
Contractor is asking, is exam a jihad, Aladdin?
I think it depends on how you view it. I mean, I didn't view my exams as a jihad to be a better person or to do something. But if you want to view studying or exams as jihad, I think according to the Islamic definition, you could.
Okay, KK is telling specifically to you, trying to give you what happened in India. He's telling there is Aurangzeb Mazar, Mazar is shrine in India, who massacred, enslaved, destroyed temples. That should tell you about our tolerance. Muslims want exclusive lands.
I would disagree with the last part of that Muslims want exclusive. Like, it's hard to say that Muslims in general do, but of course there are Muslims in India and in many parts of the world that want their area to be more exclusive. I can't say that that I'm denying that happens. Yeah.
So, in fact, I would like to add here, Aladdin, the entire concept of Islam and what Rasulullah Prophet intention was to spread Islam, and not only spread Islam, but the rule of Islam. The constitution of Islam should be imposed on all the parts of the world. So you need to keep in mind that the basic ideology of Islam is Islamic constitution on all parts of the world, and you can find verses. You can find verses in Quran stating this.
Yeah, I'm well aware of that side of Islam. I just don't like talking about Islam as if all Muslims know or apply this.
Yeah,
because
I
many
agree
Muslims-
with that
yeah,
part.
yeah. And unfortunately, many people would know about this and then they would justify it. But it's similar to what you said about how some people get heated up and they don't actually mean what they say. I think that a lot of Muslims don't rationalize it or don't think about it realistically. They're just trying to justify what the Prophet said.
Richa Shivastav is telling that very clear and insightful mindset of the guest tonight. It was a pleasure listening to such clear thoughts and rational thinkings. Kudos, Sahil and Adam. Thank you so much for the appreciation. Acha, Lucas bhai keh rahe hain, tell him about Nupur Sharma, BJP government. And in fact, I will also add this comment of our one more supporter. His ID is Gangadhari Shaktiman hai. Is telling Sahil, you made everything about yourself. Tell him about Nupur Sharma case and Kanhaiya Lal murder. How Muse are targeting only majorities and murdering them. It's not what he thought. So, have you heard about Nupur Sharma by any chance, Aladdin? And
Yes, and I
was
made a
murdered
video
just
about it
because-
as well. Yeah, I am
just
aware of
because-
Nupur Sharma.
just because.
टेलर कन्हैया लाल
Have you heard about Kanhaiya Lal?
No, I haven't. But I mean, even if I have heard about it, what would knowing about this add to the discussion, or what did I say that would imply that I don't know about this, or if I knew about it, my opinion would change?
No, they are just trying to tell you that this is what happens in India. This is how the mindset of Muslims can be twisted by the scholars uh, through Islam. They are trying to tell you, and we have seen so many cases like that. This is what they are trying to tell, and they are trying to tell, as I already said, that Muslims are very free in India. In fact, they, as I said, they ensure that they get things which they want. So this is the position of Muslims in India.
I think I understand what the super chat is trying to say and your position here, but what did I say that implied that I don't think that's the case, or that I'm not aware of these things? Like, I'm trying to understand of what motivated that kind of comment.
Because you thought, like, you have been told, like, the Muslims in India are getting beaten, are people are the non Muslims are क्या कहते हैं यार उसको, उस पे जुल्म कर रहे हैं, उसको क्या कहेंगे हम लोग, they are
Ostracized.
harassing them, क्या कहेंगे उज्जतुल काफरीन?
But I didn't say any of that today, though.
No, they are getting the feeling that you might have that kind of thinking, that this is the position of Muslims in India.
No, I don't really have a position, or like I said, I don't even have enough information to tell you how Muslims are treated in India. I'm just confused by how I'm getting a lot of examples about things that Muslims have done to harm others in India. But again, I'm not seeing the relevance to anything I've said in this conversation.
Prakash Singh is asking what kind of Muslim Aladdin gets on his channel.
All sorts, to be honest. I've had Muslims who argue with me. I've had Muslims who send threats, but I've also had a lot of Muslims who are everyday people who tell me what they believe, and then in that conversation, they could be stubborn, they could be open-minded. I've had all sorts of Muslims, and I have to say, in the beginning, I've received a lot more opposition than I do now. I still receive as many callers as before, pretty much, but I think that they come to me expecting, or some of them come to me expecting a fight or expecting a certain kind of tone. But then once they start talking, even the most aggressive ones, they can be disarmed. And not just Muslims, people of all faiths or positions that they're stubborn about. And I've spoken to all sorts, but I have my fair share of very funny and very absurd conversations with people who believe things that I don't agree with.
Varun is telling difference is that for cow case there is no Salman Rushdie, whereas for blasphemy there are many Salman Rushdis.
How so? Oh, I mean, okay, sure.
Okay, it's okay. Contractor Apostate, replace the word cow with dogs and you have your answer on why people hate it.
No, I never questioned why people don't like other people eating beef, but I understand that to some extent there are a lot of people in India who view cows the same way that other people view dogs. But I don't think that anyone should be harmed for disagreeing.
HS is telling your view on Sharia law.
I don't know where to begin to answer that question, because Sharia means law, basically. So this means Islamic law. What is my view on Islamic law? It depends on which expression of it is, but in general, I don't think that any religion should play a part in governing people. I believe in secularism in the sense that religion and state should be separate to ensure the rights of everyone, including religious people.
Yogi ji, kill cow and eat it even if it's illegal. They are mocking Hindus. Easy to judge from outside. They literally burn train consist of Hindus. योगी भाई देखो, ऐसे बहुत सारे चीजें हैं जो मतलब इन लोगों को पता नहीं होता है, क्योंकि इनको इंडिया का पता ही नहीं होता है. द प्रॉब्लम इज दैट, और मैंने पहले ही इनको बोला था कि जितना प्रोपेगेंडा इंडिया के लिए या नॉन मुस्लिम के लिए बाहर परोसा जाता है, उस हिसाब से इनकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग बनती है. तो मेरे हिसाब से इन लोगों का प्रॉब्लम नहीं है ये. इनको जो फीड किया जा रहा है यहाँ पे, हमारे वहां पे जैसे लोग है, ये क्या नाम है उसका, जुबैर, कौन सा, जुबियर, हाँ, तो ये लोग जितना फीड करते हैं ना प्रोपेगेंडा, बाहर के लोगों को उतना ही मालूम होता है भाई. तो उस हिसाब से इनकी फीलिंग मतलब इनकी सोच वैसी बनती
अंडरस्टैंडिंग बनती है।
है, अंडरस्टैंडिंग उनकी उस हिसाब से बनती है, इनकी इतनी इसमें गलती नहीं है।
अच्छा साहिल, अपोस्टेट अलादीन अगर यूएस में होंगे तो इनको पता होगा कि अमेरिका में डॉग को मारना बैन है। तो अगर मुस्लिम सिर्फ अमेरिकन्स का दिल दुखाने के लिए वहाँ डॉग को काट के खाएंगे तो कैसा फील होगा उनको?
हाँ
सेम
ठीक है, लेकिन डॉग डॉग उनके लिए होली नहीं है ना।
होली नहीं है, फिर भी अगर बैन है और उनको सिर्फ चिढ़ाने के लिए खाते हैं तो वो गलत है ना।
हाँ वो भी गलत ही है, लेकिन थोड़ा सा ये है अपना, थोड़ा डिफरेंस है दोनों में। बट एनी विच वेज, रविंद्र कह रहे हैं मुस्लिम्स में बी गुड बट नॉट द इस्लाम, मुस्लिम्स आर जस्ट द पपेट ऑफ इस्लाम, ignoring words of Islam is not an Muslim at all.
So something I noticed, like when you call people, puppets of Islam or victims of Islam, do you think they would be likely to listen, even if you do have the truth about Islam? Do you think that they would be likely to listen to what you're saying, or have an emotional reaction and act angry, and then, they play into the stereotype that they are angry?
Karna Talks is asking, does Aladdin believe Gangadhar ही शक्तिमान था? So he's trying to ask, do you also believe that Allah is actually Muhammad and Muhammad is actually Allah? I mean, Prophet Muhammad has
एक आईडी
हाँ, Allah is the fake ID of Prophet Muhammad. He invented that there is someone called Allah, and it was actually Muhammad who was speaking on behalf of Allah. There is no Allah. He was only it was Muhammad only who was telling things in the name of Allah. What do you think about that?
I mean, of course, I don't believe there is an Allah. So is the question, did Muhammad believe that there was an Allah telling him things?
No.
Like, was he delusional?
साहिल भाई, मैं
or-
आपके लिए क्वेश्चन ये पूछ देता हूँ, ठीक है?
No, I think I understood the question. I mean, my question to myself would be, did Muhammad lie about the presence of Allah and
Yeah.
say that,
Right.
this verse is from me instead of Allah on purpose? Or was he delusional about it and it somehow made its way into his delusion, including in some verses where it was very convenient for him to have these verses? I'm not sure which one it is because we haven't been there to observe Muhammad. All I know is Allah is not real, and there are a lot of verses that serve Muhammad that are said as if Allah, said them, but it was obviously Muhammad was saying them. So whether he intentionally designed it that way or if he was delusional about it, I cannot tell.
Right. KK is telling Muslims in the West should shout about Hindutva India, never utter a word about the plight of all kafirs in Pakistan. Women forced to marry off old babas every day. Have you ever heard people telling what the minority is going in Pakistan? Have you ever heard?
Yeah. My experience hasn't been that no one utters a word about it. I mean, I have had many callers who talked about it. In fact, Pakistan has banned my channel, and every now and then they ban another video from being viewed. So I'm very well aware of Pakistan's censorship, but I don't think that this is a case of people only talking about issues in India and not Pakistan. I've been exposed to many of these complaints as well.
No, but we have not seen people coming out on road, how they are coming out for Muslims. We have not seen people coming out on road for the non-Muslims who are tortured in Pakistan. We have not seen that. So there's a
I think
difference.
it's I think I have an explanation for that. If there's a minority, you need to have another group outside of that minority that supports them to a large extent, or people of the same group that support them. So it's hard to find support for minorities, but when you have issues where there's a large enough number to go out and protest who aren't being persecuted, then you'll see more protests.
Jai Bholenath is telling Muslims steal cows and livelihoods, sow the tension, also beheadings.
Yeah, I don't know what to say to that, really.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that people can take law in their hands. I don't agree with that. Arun Bhatt, Aladdin sir, my community was exiled in Kashmir.
I am very sorry for your community and yourself.
Yeah, Kashmiri Pandits. I'll suggest you to read something about the Kashmiri Pandits and the genocide that happened with them. done by Muslims.
I think people are talking to me as if I'm ignoring wrongdoings, done against anyone who's not Muslim. That's not the case.
Okay. No, but they are just also, telling you to read about the other things as well. Maybe this is what their intention is.
Mhm.
Okay, Nidhi is telling him about privilege, about Hajj subsidy, etc. Nidhi ji, ये तो Hajj subsidy तो अभी मेरे ख्याल से बंद हो गया ना? अमित
खत्म
बंद हो
हो
गया
गया।
ना?
हाँ हाँ खत्म हो गया।
अभी
लेकिन
खत्म हो गया.
पिछले 70 साल से दी जा रही थी सब्सिडी।
Exactly. Jansen, your patience explaining your approach very well. Sahil, I don't speak Urdu, so I was curious. Thanks, Apostate Aladdin, for the questions. Keep up the good work. Stay safe. From a Dutch ex-Muslim.
Yeah, thank you, Jansen. I recognize them from my channel as well. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Jansen, and welcome to our channel. Acha, Vijay bhai keh rahe, what did God Allah mean when his interpretation varies? Then God did not do a good job of sending his message.
Yeah, I think I say that all the time, that the method of transmission in general, not just in Islam, but the idea that God spoke to people through texts that don't change, I don't agree with that, with any religion, because people will misunderstand. So it's the author's responsibility to write it in a way that is clear and flexible and can be changed later or can be clarified. So I think the best method of transmission for God would not be through texts, whether it's Islam or otherwise.
ओके भाई लोग, थोड़ा सा हाथ अभी हल्का रखो, क्योंकि अलादीन साहब को भी इतनी लंबी लंबी स्ट्रीम करने की आदत नहीं है. आई एम जस्ट टेलिंग देम दैट एज ऑफ नाउ स्टॉप सेंडिंग क्वेश्चंस, बिकॉज यू डू नॉट हैव हैबिट ऑफ doing lengthy streams. We have the habit, but I'm sure
I'm okay with that. I've done a stream as long as 6 hours before.
Then that is fine. Then that is fine.